And we're back for another episode of Say It Out Loud Sports. First things first, I got my guys back from last week, Kris and Kevin. What's up, fellas?
What's up?
What's going on?
Got to tell you, I got boozed last night.
I don't even know what that is.
Boozed.
I
All right.
have no idea.
I'm surprised you don't know because you live in Ridgecrest. Kevin, do you know what boozed is?
Boozed? No, that's probably not what you're referring to. Is it what I'm drinking right now?
Kind of, yeah. So
You just got hammered.
it started, apparently there's a thing called fairy dusted. Have you heard of that? Or dusted?
No.
No.
You can't describe something
So,
with something else I don't know.
It's a Facebook group that these ladies started, I guess. And the premise is you leave your address in this group and people give you gifts. They drop off like candy or makeup this is for the women. And everybody's all excited. There's like a couple hundred people doing this. I don't know because I'm not in the group, but my wife told me about it. And she was like, you got to bring presents and leave it on their doorstep and basically ring the doorbell and you run away. And you got dusted, right?
Okay.
Oh, no.
So a couple days go by and I'm like, why are you putting our address out there? You can't do that. Like crazy people are out there. But then, we live in Ridgecrest and the internet, you can find anything, right? So then a couple days go by and I get an invite to some group, and I'm not going to say their name, but it had to do with booze, brews, and some other stuff. So I accepted it, and their premise, basically, people dropped off booze to you on your doorstep. So I'm like, I'm joining it for sure. So I get in there. I said, you can leave so I leave my address. So then after yelling at my wife for leaving our address out there, I turn around and put it on there because I'm like, yeah, I'll take some free beers.
There's booze involved.
So I was working last night. I got home, or I got a call right when I got off, and she's like, you got boozed. I'm like, yes. So I'm like,
that's a big one.
so I'm on my way. So I got home, and I thought she'd be excited, but she was kind of sad because she's like, I thought I was getting dusted, and I went out there, and there's booze. I'm like, sorry, but she got dusted today.
Yeah, couple of things. One, I'm never putting my address on Facebook. Not that I'm on Facebook anyway.
I can find you.
Two, I don't trust any of my friends to leave me anything worthwhile on my doorstep. It'd probably be more like shit in a bag.
I'm gonna give you. I don't know where you live, so you haven't given me your new address. So I'm gonna find out where you live without you putting it out there, and then I'm gonna drive to your house and leave you 4 Locos and Everclear or something. I don't know.
Oh,
Nothing.
Thanks for breaking the bank on the good liquor for me. I appreciate that.
You got it. All right, cool. So before we get into NFL, we're gonna talk AFC. We talked NFC last week. I got some feedback on last week's episode about the UFC because me and Bob the week before gave out picks, and I didn't cover that leading into it. So I went 3-5 on the card 2 weeks ago, but 2 of the 3 wins were big underdogs. I had Olenek was like plus 260, and who was the other dog that won? I don't remember. They were plus 160. And then my lock of the night was Cejudo, which he won. So if you just put enough to win 100 on each one, I would have lost $60 or something. So it wasn't going 3-5 isn't a terrible thing always. But so that was the breakdown of that one. With UFC talk, let's get into before we get into NFL. UFC judging issues. So there's a big old. I know Kevin, you watched the fights last week with Ige and Barboza last week.
Yes, I got lucky on Ige for sure.
Did you watch it? Did you feel watching the fight? Did you think it was a clear winner?
I didn't think it was. I felt lucky to win my bet on Ige. I thought when the final bell sounded, I kind of kissed my bet goodbye. And then when they lifted Ige's hand, I was fairly surprised. I thought Barboza won the fight.
Yeah.
But there are ways to finish the fight. You don't try not to leave in the judge's hands as much as possible. I did think Barboza was a little bit robbed, but I didn't think it was anything egregious by any means. Yeah. But I was surprised that Ige won.
So the crazy part to me is this whole thing. The UFC people are tweeting that they're on a 6-fight winning streak, even though they lost. Like you didn't win.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
So
is that the Angela Hill tweet?
Yeah, it's like, dude, I get like you feel like you got robbed, and the UFC definitely needs to fix like judging. And I think all they have to do is put the scores on the jumbotron or make them public after every round.
Yeah, and if I'm in someone's corner too, I'd tell them like that round was probably closer than what we thought. You probably need to win the next 2, or win the next round just to be sure.
Right. Well, no,
you try not to leave it in the judge's hands.
You go back to, there's tons of these fights. Look at the week before, I remember Cerrone and Pettis. I thought, I'm not a professional judge. I thought Cerrone won all 3 rounds. They gave it to Pettis. Watterson. But you can't, like Reyes and Jones. Everybody's saying, oh, Reyes won. No, he didn't. The final score is Jones won, so he won. Let it go. Like, it's like Cerrone. I didn't see Cerrone on social media be like, oh, Pettis. I beat Pettis, which is cool. I like Cerrone. But no.
Yeah, I don't think Cerrone's ever complained about anything. He just doesn't seem like that type of guy. But, I mean, there are ways. You finish the fight. You know, you try and finish the other person off. Don't leave it in the judge's hands. It didn't just start yesterday that boxing and UFC have had some pretty shady scoring.
Yeah.
You know, it's been going on for a while. Don't leave it in the judge's hands.
So,
go ahead.
Do you think if they made the scores public after each round, or even say after 2 rounds, say it's a 3-round fight, after the second round, if they posted it after the second round, so then say the fighter's down 2-0, they know they need to finish. I think that would help, like speed up. Like, so if you're down 2-0, you're like, shit, I have to knock this guy out or submit him. So they're not going to.
Yeah, I mean, it could, but conversely, if I know I'm up 2-0 and I wouldn't normally think that, I probably would just, you know, do whatever I can to not be submitted or knocked out. So I don't know if it would really change much.
No, I guess that's true.
One person would be more aggressive, but one person might become way more passive.
Yeah, but that's what you get in NFL, NBA, anything. And we play, you know, don't play to win, and they always blow the damn lead. So it would be kind of like, oh shit, they were up 2-0 and got knocked out, and then it'd be a whole new story. So I think that would be a way to at least make it public and known to that fighter instead of being shocked at the end.
I mean, I wouldn't.
So I think
opposed. I wouldn't be opposed to fighters knowing exactly where they're at throughout the fight. It wouldn't bother me if we all knew what the scoring was. But you know, even as the fight progressed, if we knew what the judge's scorecard was, people would still probably question a lot of the judging still.
Yeah, for sure. I just don't think there would be as much after the fact. They would still there'd still be that. There would still be that. I don't know. It'd be more interesting.
I think somebody like Angela Hill would still probably tweet out, you know, that scoring was awful, and then she would probably try and, you know, go for a finish in the 3rd round. But you might see her opponent just, you know, run around the ring essentially to try to avoid her.
Yeah, true. It'd be interesting. I think they should do that, make it a little more interesting. But anyway,
I mean, and to say this too, like, I don't think UFC scoring is nearly as bad as what boxing has put out over the last decade or so.
I've watched one boxing match in 20 years, and it was McGregor Mayweather. That's what I don't think.
No, that wasn't even really boxing. That was more like scripted WWE. I actually watched that fight on replay last night, and I mean, obviously I loved it. It was like the biggest bet I've ever won in my life.
Yeah.
But watching that, I was like, oh my God, this is like WWE. Like, it was just, I mean, Floyd was punching him in the shoulder for like the first 6 rounds, trying to like not knock McGregor out, basically.
Hey, McGregor's he's a legend. I love McGregor.
Hey, he's a legend. I wish
So
they would
is Floyd,
fight 5 more times and give me the same odds over and over, because I thought that was the easiest bet I've ever made in my life.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's get into the NFL. Do you want to cover the rule? Did you hear about the rule change? I know, Chris, we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
The onside kick rule?
I like it.
Yeah.
I like what they're doing. I don't mind it. I get they're trying to take some of the violence out of the kickoff returns. I don't mind the onside kick. It's going to take away from a surprise onside kicks. I don't mind this, though. I think it actually favors the kicking team, because I think 4th and 15 is a little bit easier than getting an onside kick.
Yeah.
But I like it. I don't mind it.
What do you think, Chris?
Well, I don't know. I'd like to see the stats on the 4th down conversions. I didn't bring that up, but I mean, do you have that?
No, I have. So onside kicks over the past 2 years, there's been 5 out of 79.
Okay.
So I'm guaranteed 3rd down they're better than that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but I don't know if it's too good. Is there a limit? I didn't read the whole thing. Is there a limit to how many times? Is there like a cert as after the 4th quarter?
I think I heard you could do it twice
Through the game?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that'd be savage? You're up 14-0 and you're like, I'm going for it. 4th and 15. Let's just keep the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, if you could do it an unlimited amount of times throughout the game, like, would the Chiefs ever just kick off?
I don't
if I have an
know.
offense like the Chiefs, like, I'm just going for it over and over.
Yeah, imagine like somebody with a shitty quarterback. You're not gonna be like, damn, I think we're better off just kicking it. Maybe they'll fumble it.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm Andy Reid with that offense, I'm never kicking off. I'm just going. If I could do it unlimited throughout the game, I'm going for it 4th and 15 every time.
That is,
yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Like the Bears, you're like, please go for it. Mitch Trubisky, I think it'll be fine. But if you have someone like, say, Gardner Minshew, you're like, dude, just kick it off. We lost. Like, don't even.
How would this change the totals too? Like, I mean, you have to think like second half total.
Oh, gambling wise, it'd be insane.
Yeah, like if I'm playing the second half of a game, I'm probably
over every time.
Yeah. Yeah, like it doesn't really matter what the score is because if they're down 28 at half, why aren't they not going to use both times?
No, and then how many? Like, say you're going for it on the onside kick, and you throw a pick six. Like, remember Matt Hasselbeck? We're gonna get the ball, we're gonna score, and he throws a pick six on the first play overtime. Imagine if he does that on the onside. Is that 7? How many points is that? That's just game over. You lose. You just game. That's it.
Yeah, you're gonna give up the 7 touchdown and the ensuing extra point probably. So I'm sure teams are gonna sit there and go for 2 all the time.
Yep.
Although that is one thing I have with a bone to pick with the NFL. Why don't teams go for 2 more often? Because the expected value is actually it's in favor of going for 2.
Yeah,
it's not a huge difference, but basically every team should be going for 2 every time.
I don't
know about every team.
I feel like I saw it more often. Like recently, it's happening a lot more than it was before.
Like the expected value of the 2-point conversion is higher than the extra point now that they moved it back. And so basically, unless the situation says kick the extra point for the win, you should be going for 2 every time.
I think the coaches are scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you go for you got to pick. Like if I'm the Chiefs, I'm just going for 2 every time, no matter what happens.
They
I would not even have you'd have to have a kicker, I guess, to kick field goals. But every touchdown, I go for 2 every time. But if you're someone, they're just scared. Like, say they score first and you bring it 7-6, and then you go for 2 and miss it, and then the final score is 7-6. I'm like, oh, what an idiot! Back in the first quarter, he went for 2.
Yeah.
But that's the what if, the what if game that everybody plays in every sport in America.
Well, I would probably think we have bigger issues if we don't score for 3 quarters of the game.
Right. No, I agree.
Yeah.
So yeah. I personally, every team should go for 2 at least through the first 3 quarters every time.
Yeah, it's different if it's 1 second. No, I don't think, unless it's a playoff game, I'm going for 2 every time, especially from the Chiefs or the Ravens.
Personally, if I'm a head coach, I'm almost never punting. Like if I get beyond my own 40-yard line, I'm never punting.
If you have that high-powered offense, you've got to go for it.
Wait, timeout. Going for 2 is one. This will set him never punting.
I'm never punting once I reach my 40-yard line, and it's less than like 8 yards to go.
Your own 40?
My own 40, unless 8 yards or less. I'm never punting.
No, stop, dude. Come on.
I swear to God, I would never.
It depends on who you're playing and a lot of things.
Nope, doesn't even matter.
Nope.
At least through the first 3 quarters, I would never do it.
I don't believe you. Well, I do because we'll never find out. But if it's like, say you're the Chiefs and you're playing the Ravens, you're on your own 40 and it's 4th and 8, you're punting.
No, I wouldn't.
But but there's still teams that punt from they're on the 38, so I can get a 55-yard field goal, go for it and get 8 yards, or punt it and they try to pin them deep and then they punt it 8 yards or 18 yards and get a touchback. That drives me batshit crazy.
Oh, that's the worst. Like if I was an NFL owner, I'd fire my coach if he ever did that.
We could never own an NFL team. I wouldn't have a coach.
No,
I would be the coach and the quarterback.
Yeah,
so,
I would be worse than Jerry Jones for sure. I would be so much worse than Jerry Jones.
No, what do you mean? He kept Garrett around for I'd fire people in the middle of games.
No, yeah, absolutely, I would.
I'd go down the game and be like, who's where's my special teams coordinator? Like, it's that guy.
I'd
be like, hey, buddy, you're out of here. I'm the coordinator now.
I'd be like, what should we coordinators have some balls? Because we're never punting in opposition territory. Never, ever. Like, once we reach the 50, we're never punting. I don't care what the situation is. We're not punting.
That'd be my first meeting. This is your new owner. Like if I bought a team, I'd bring in all the coordinators. Like, all right, does any of you object to this? And if someone did, I'd fire him.
My first question would be, all right, we have the ball. It's 4th and 9 at the opponent's 47-yard line. What are you doing?
It's a quiz.
What are you doing? Yeah, that would be my very first question. If they answered it wrong, I would just end the interview right there.
They could do multiple. You could do it on Scantrons. And it would be multiple choice, and they have to get 50
the
out of 50.
owner would be the coach at that point.
Exactly.
That doesn't.
Yeah, pretty much. That's why I would be worse than Jerry Jones. Like
Right.
I can't like draw up a play to save my life. I wouldn't call a play, but I'd be like, this is what we're doing. Like I don't care what play you call out of this, but we're going for it.
Right. All right. So
it would be like Lane Kiffin kicking 70-yard field goal when he was with the Raiders.
I forget Lane Kiffin.
We would just be doing like dumb shit like that.
He was
like,
tweeting the other day.
Was he really?
Yeah, it was. I can't remember what he was chirping at USC. I think I don't remember what it was. But hey, so are we in favor of the rule change? I don't know. It went a little haywire there. Do we want?
Yeah.
We all want
Definitely
it. Chris, do you want?
I could see it favoring.
Do we want
teams.
the change?
I could go for it. I mean,
we don't care about the bad teams. We want the good teams to make the games fun.
Yeah.
Like I don't care if
I could go for it.
Yeah.
I say yes for a couple reasons. One, I think it makes the game more exciting. Because the likelihood of converting 4th and 15 is, especially with the changes they've made to the onside kick over the years, like having 5 guys on one side of the ball. Like it made it all but impossible. It's pretty much impossible to get an onside kick these days. It's really tough.
Yeah, 5 out of 7.
And 4th and 15 seems more likely.
Who was the team that got 2 in a row?
But there was a penalty. It was Falcons against the Saints.
Yeah,
that was the Falcons.
That was nuts.
Yeah, that was pretty wild.
One of them got called
like
back though, right?
To the rule though.
Didn't they get 3 and one of them there was a penalty on one too?
Yeah,
or something?
maybe that's.
I think so.
Maybe
Yeah.
it was 3.
I was losing. It was Thanksgiving, right? Thanksgiving night because we're all.
You're right.
It was insane. I had money on the over, and then they called it. It was awesome. All right, let's get it. We went a little off trails. Let's get into the AFC. Let's start with.
Blame it on tequila.
Yeah, let's start with the North. Let's start with the North. Anybody want to start with the North, the Ravens, or whoever wants to go?
I'll go ahead.
You got it?
Yeah.
All right, Chris. Let's
start with the Ravens. They went 14-2 last year. They didn't really change that much. They lost, I guess, Josh Bynes, Hayden Hurst would be their biggest losses.
Who's Josh Bynes? Josh Bynes.
Linebacker.
Never heard of him. Just go. Keep going.
He's not a big name. Like I said, he's not huge.
It's getting wild.
He's not a key factor, but they did lose him. He accounted for 2 interceptions, 23 of the tackles. Not huge. Hayden Hurst wasn't huge. Mark Andrews is better.
This is the best.
I need something for the Ravens.
23.
I mean, other than that,
is he on special teams?
They're going to be good again.
Yeah.
No, he's on defense.
I think people have 23 tackles.
He actually used to be on the Cardinals, but
that's where it lies. That's where it lies. He said, huge loss, Josh Bynes. He was on the Cardinals.
Yeah, I didn't say he's a huge loss.
I know.
I'm saying he's a loss nonetheless. I mean,
we're getting into it.
But, I was going over the stats, and I never realized just how nasty the Ravens secondary was. Did you know that Marlon Humphrey led them in tackles?
I don't know if that's good. I don't know if
that's good.
That's wild to me. They were a good team. They went 14-2, so it's not like they were just getting burnt and he had to tackle. I don't know. That was just a wild stat to me.
That's pretty impressive. They went 14-2 and they're leading tackler.
That's crazy.
That's probably the first time in history.
Yeah, that was insane.
Because usually that's bad.
Yeah.
If you just told me that,
your safety or your corner making tackles would be bad. Yes, I agree.
That's crazy.
They also added Calais Campbell. They got Patrick Queen in the draft. Yeah. So, I mean, they're looking good.
What do you got them at?
I got them at 14-2.
Damn.
Whoa.
You got them going up?
That's the same.
Oh, you got them no regression. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean,
I don't think they really lost any. You just said Josh. Yeah, you're talking shit like they're crazy.
I'm talking crazy. I got them at 13-3. Like I have them taking one step back. Okay. Like they're going 6-10, bro. No, I got them at 13-3. Like you said, they lost Hayden Hurst. Was their, I think, biggest. I don't know.
Probably biggest. I mean, Mark Andrews.
There's going to be tape on Jackson if that's a thing. I think. Obviously, had a monster year last year. I think they'll catch up a little, but then they added J.K. Dobbins, which I think is going to be to add to Ingram already. Mm-hmm. You mentioned Pat Queen. I like what they drafted Devin Duvernay out of Texas and James Proche out of I think it's SMU. And they're both receivers, give them more weapons.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that, and then the other thing, they get Kansas City and Dallas both at home.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the 2 toughest games, I think. But Hollywood Brown apparently is the fastest human alive. He's shooting footballs out of a jugs machine and sprinting down the concrete to catch it. And he said, if you draft Lamar Jackson, you better draft me. Like, come on. I know,
They
but you're
have
in
the fastest offense.
what is it?
So
yeah, because Lamar Jackson runs like a 3.8.
Lamar ran a 4.34.
We know he's fast.
J.K. Dobbins ran a 4.44, and Hollywood ran a 4.33. They're fast.
Yeah, I understand.
4.33 is on Mecole Hardman's level. I know Tyreek Hill's a little bit faster. You could argue that they are faster in their wide receiver room, but Ravens overall, I would say, they're fast.
Good. That's good analysis. They're fast. However, this whole Hollywood Brown's hyping himself up and saying all this stuff. That's how you get in the head, getting up there, and then they're gonna fall.
I mean, what's he supposed to say though? Like, hey,
I'm slow.
Don't draft me. I'm gonna suck this year. Like, you got to have some confidence in yourself.
Yeah, but I don't know. When people do that, I swear they fall harder.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's a wide receiver. Nobody's gonna take him second or third overall in the fantasy draft, but. I mean, it might not be a bad idea to pair him if you do land Lamar in your fantasy draft. Just don't do it in round 2.
I don't know. I just think with the rate, I mean, I got him at 13-3. I guess I can't really talk too crazy. I was like, Pittsburgh's coming back. They're going to hit him in the mouth. You know how football is. You talk crazy, everybody's targeting you. So by bringing that attention to you, it's just going to cause more targets to you. Like, look what Antonio Brown. Like, he's lucky Vontae is perfect in the division anymore. Otherwise, he might have CTE by game 3. He'd be laying him out, you know.
I'm a little more pessimistic than you guys. I have them at 10-6 this year. Last year they were probably a 13-win team by point differential last year. They 3-0 in close games. They had a lot of fumble luck too. I think there's going to be some regression. I also think the division's going to get better. Just Big Ben alone makes the Steelers a lot better than Mason Rudolph or some guy named Duck. Yeah. I don't think Cincy's going to be nearly as bad. I mean, I don't think Cincy's going to make the playoffs or anything, but they're not going to be as bad as they were last year. And at a certain point last year, Cincy was just trying to lose. They didn't really care about winning games. Pittsburgh will be better. Cincy will be I don't think Cincy will beat them at all this year, but they'll be slightly better. I don't think Cleveland could do any worse given the talent that they have than they did last year too. So I think the division gets better. I think they'll regress a little bit on the luck side. 10-6, they'll still be in the playoffs. I have them winning the division again, so it's not like I'm too down on them. I don't see them at like 8-8, but I don't. I would definitely take the under on the season win total. You can find an 11.5 out there, and therefore it takes 12 wins to beat you.
Yeah,
I'm not betting it, but if I did have to, gun to my head, I would probably play the season win total under that. Right. But I don't love it. It wouldn't shock me if they went like 13-3 again.
Yeah.
So you say, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and for fantasy purposes, like I love what they did with the draft, but I'm so bummed that J.K. Dobbins ended up in a backfield with Mark Ingram because I think he's just super talented. I would love to see him not in a backfield by committee so much.
But that's where the NFL's going, is committee.
Yeah. I totally agree with that.
That's the new norm now.
Yeah, I think Dobbins just has a crazy amount of talent, though, and I don't think he's going to get to shot. For fantasy purposes, I'm bummed that he ended up there. But for real football, it's a great pick.
I don't know if you saw what Alvin Kamara did with Mark Ingram. You might see the same thing with Dobbins. So it might be actually. Yeah,
Kamara really went down. Had a bad. Last year was worse. The first year was crazy. But Dobbins in like Frisco would have been just stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think Kamara nearly had the hype that Dobbins had, though, coming out of college. Because Kamara got injured his senior year. He only played like the first 6 games of his senior year, and that's kind of why he fell to like the 3rd or 4th round, wherever it was.
Yeah.
Whereas like in the old days, like if running backs were still drafted in the first round, like I think Dobbins would have been a first round pick like 5-10 years ago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, because he went early 2nd round. But anyway, so you
yeah. I mean, a running back going in like the top of the 2nd round is the equivalent of a running back going in the 1st round like 10 years ago.
Yeah. So what do you guys see Pittsburgh as? We'll go to Pitt.
I'll let Kevin take that.
You want Pitt or do you want me to go? Mine's short, so I'll go. So we got Big Ben Roethlisberger coming back. He's 38 years old, coming off an injury. Baltimore has been obviously they've improved since he's been out because, they didn't burst on the scene until pretty much last year. Cleveland's got better, even though they didn't show their potential last year. I think Cleveland's going to take a big step forward. They lost since Ben's been there. I mean, he only played a game and a half. The first game was against New England.
Right.
And they
And
got,
then he got hurt in week
33-3 against obviously New England's defense was we learned that they were one of the best, or I think they were the best last year. But 38, everybody talks about this came back to last week. Everybody talks about Tom Brady's age, Drew Brees' age. We saw Drew Brees get hurt last year. Big Ben got hurt last year. I just don't think Ben kept himself in as good a shape as, say, Brady. And I think the injury is still going to linger. He doesn't have a BR12 or BR7 brand after him where he's like promoting his body like TB12. He's giving out advice. No one's listening to Big Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
He lost Antonio Brown. Le'Veon Bell's gone. James Conner's injury prone. That defense showed out last year. They were 8-8 with a guy named Duck. Also, so shout out Duck wherever you are. But I just don't think Ben. He's going to put up some numbers. I don't think Juju's a proven number one, and they don't have a number. They don't have that combo. To me, they got Eric Ebron, he was hurt last year. He put up those huge numbers the year before with Andrew Luck.
Yeah,
I just don't see Pittsburgh just roaring back. And I have him.
James Washington was opposite of Juju.
Yeah, he's fast. Yeah, but we'll see. I don't see Pittsburgh. I have him at 7-9. I don't see him coming back and just making a big statement. 7-9. They went 8-8 last year. I think Ben's iffy. That's why I have him there. So that's where I'm at.
Well, that's interesting. So you think they get worse with Big Ben?
Right.
Wow.
I don't think the defense. So I think a lot of their defense. Obviously, the Browns played terrible. The Bengals were awful. I didn't really look too deep into their schedule last year. And Minkah Fitzpatrick alone went on this rampant tear last year when he got traded for, or when they got him. He had like two or three pick six. Dude, he was just every highlight was Minkah Fitzpatrick. I don't think it's sustainable. They lost Artie Burns. They lost Mark Barron.
They didn't.
I think they lose Vernon Hart, but they didn't gain a lot either. What they gained, they got Big Ben. Obviously, it's fine.
Yeah.
If Myles Garrett tries to hit Big Ben with the helmet, that might be a problem because Big Ben is big and he probably knows hitmen or something. I don't know. He's been around a long time. He's probably a mob member.
Yeah.
He might be in the mob maybe in Pittsburgh. Doesn't Artie Burns
sound like the name of a 90-year-old man?
Every time I hear that name, he reminds me of the grandpa on King of Queens.
Yeah.
Is his name Arthur? His name's Arthur.
He just died, didn't he?
When I first heard
Stiller,
his name,
Jerry Stiller. Oh, that's Jerry Stiller?
Yeah.
That's him. He died, dude?
He just died.
I got to watch King of Queens tonight. That's my night. Saturday night, baby. Saturday Night Fire. All right, go ahead. So I got Pittsburgh 7-9. What say you?
I got them at 9-7.
Same thing.
And I think
Same thing.
No, that's not the same thing.
Close.
I think Ben actually makes a big impact. I think Tomlin is just a great coach. He has a winning record. His percentage is at 64.2. I just think he's a good coach, and he understands how to adapt to things. And we saw that last year, having to throw with a guy named Duck. So I think we'll see that. Big Ben. Big Ben. Here's the stats for you. Big Ben, last time he had a beard. I don't know if you saw his beard video.
He cut it off, right? No, I didn't.
No, he didn't. He just trimmed it. Okay. Last time he had his beard, 2015. Guess what? They were like a top-ranked offense that year.
I will bet whatever you
they
want.
had 337 yards per game.
Passing?
Yeah,
That's not even like top 10 now.
they're gonna be good. Big Ben's beard.
You just said they're going 9-7. They're going to be good?
Yeah, that's playoff. I have them in playoffs.
Damn, you got AFC.
Yeah, I don't love the AFC.
All right,
But
Kevin,
yeah.
what do you got?
10-6.
Dang,
Well, that's even higher.
I want what's the
Ravens. Yeah, I'm a believer. They went 8-8 with two backup quarterbacks last year. One of those guys got his head caved in by his own helmet. I don't think losing AB. AB's talented, but he's also a nut job. So I don't think.
But he wasn't until the hit.
We don't.
The hit
we don't
heard
know
around the
that
world.
much, though. We just never heard the stories until he left Pittsburgh.
I don't know,
Like
man.
he might have been crazy there. I mean, the guy went to Central Michigan.
Look at the
Which isn't
timeline.
exactly.
Does that
It's
mean
not
that?
exactly like the most
Does that mean
university world.
Time out.
Does that mean Mason Rudolph is never going to be the same? He's going to turn into Antonio
I don't
Brown?
think so. Like,
He got
how can you ever see Myles
mollywopped. He
Garrett
got
come in
mollywopped with
again?
a helmet.
No, that didn't even hurt, dude. He was the adrenaline was running. No, Vontez Perfect literally almost no. Look at the Antonio Brown timeline, and once that guy ran through him, now he's beefing with Logan Paul. They're gonna box Antonio Brown. So he goes from he's gonna box Logan Paul. Now Russell Wilson wants him. Talk about a demise. Maybe Russell Wilson can save. That might work. Actually, Russell Wilson might save him.
You might.
And that's scary.
I tell you what, if he goes to Seattle, I think he's worth an extra win on that offense.
Whatever. He went to New England. They had him for an hour. Brady threw him for three touchdowns to him. Budget. I can't do it. Fucking he played one game
he had with New England. He went nuts though. He was great for that one game.
He would definitely be good for one more win for Seattle.
He still has it.
So someone just say, "Hey, bud, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna wait till the playoffs, and then we're gonna sign you, okay? And then all you have to do is keep your shit together for 4 games. So we'll lock you in a padded room. You'll get a ring. You'll get meals. If you want some drinks, we'll give you drinks, but you can't leave the padded room. You know what I mean? And then we'll release you into the wild. You'll have a new Super Bowl ring, and you can go auction it. But just get help me help you. Quarantine him. Tell him the coronavirus is running rampant, and you must stay in the room.
Tell him he's got COVID. He can't leave the room.
Just test him. Don't even have to test him. All you have to do is take a temperature. But yep, you got COVID.
Just stick the.
Just make up a disease. You can tell that guy he's got. You got the orange disease. He'd be like, "What's that?" And be like, "It's new." And be like, "Oh damn," and then just shove him in a room.
Yeah. Pittsburgh went 8-8 with 2 backup quarterbacks. So you give them Ben and Eric Ebron. Not only that, like their defense was really good last year. The offense was awful. Like everything's coming together on the offense this year. It's going to be a 10-6 year.
All right. What's the win total on them?
9.
I'm taking
9. Full
under
disclosure,
all
I'm
day.
not betting the over.
Under all day. That's my lock. One of them. But we'll go
Really?
over. No, not my lock. I have to hear all of them.
Oh yeah, I got a better
in
lock
that
for
division.
you.
All right, so let's go on to Cleveland. Who's got Cleveland? Do you want me to go to Cleveland?
Kevin.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, are you?
Oh, let's start with Cleveland. All right, I'm going. They beefed up the O-line. They got Conklin and Wills, the drafted Wills. Added Austin Hooper, Sendejo, Delpit. They were 26 last year in turnover margin. They got the Chubb. They got Hunt. They got Njoku, I think. They got all these guys.
Hooper.
They got all the talent. They got Hooper. I already said that. So they start with at Baltimore, tough game. Then they get Cincinnati and Washington at home. So that should be 2 wins. If they lose one of those games, the season's over. I'm just going to throw in the towel and say I was wrong. Mm-hmm. Then they go to at Dallas. So I think they start 2-2. But after that, it's up and down. Beckham last year, he's going to come around. He had a 55.6 catch rate last year, which was his lowest in his career. They need to get him the ball more efficiently and they keep trying to throw 37-yard post routes, 27-yard outs. Just get Beckham the ball. Like, do what he says. But also, they have so many weapons. Like, what are you doing? They improved the defense with all those guys. The O-line was the biggest problem, I think. Every time I watched a Browns game, it was just like a Niagara Falls. Like, Baker he's going down, and then the gates would open, and everybody would just smack him. So I have the Browns going 10-6 and making the playoffs this year. That's why.
Right.
That's another reason why I have Pittsburgh going 7-9 because they got to play. They have to play the Ravens twice. They got to play the Browns twice, and I have the Browns jumping Pitt. Mm-hmm. If the coaching staff's a question mark and Baker's a question mark, but if we see anything that we saw Baker's rookie year, then they 100% have the talent to go 10-6. So it's up to coaching's going to be the. Freddie Kitchens was out of his mind last year, even from the high.
Now you're getting Kevin Stefanski.
Yeah,
who was the offensive coordinator for the Vikings. I mean,
fine. Run the ball.
Not great.
Feed Chubb and feed Hunt every time. That's fine. They make Kirk Cousins look fine. And half the year, Thielen was hurt. Diggs didn't want to be there.
This is one team to project high. They're definitely going to not do that. So
I'm only projecting 10-6. I could see them.
I would
taking a huge step.
playoff. I don't know.
Yeah, I have them in the 6th seed, I think, at 10-6. I have some crazy thick picks later, but you guys go ahead.
I mean, if they're 10-6, they better be in the playoff.
Yeah.
So I got them 10-6. Who's next?
I'll go next. I got them 6-10. I don't believe in them yet. I actually like the direction they're going, but new coaching staff. I'm just not a firm believer in them yet, and I will gladly the opposite side of any bet you want to win. Okay. I will take that. If you really believe in them, they're 5-1 to win the division.
No, I don't think they're going to win. I'm not betting against the Ravens. I just said the Ravens are going 13-3.
But 5-1's not bad. If you think they go 10-6, 5-1's not bad to take a stab at for the division.
What was you told me the Bears were like 8. What was the Bears last week? You told me
4-1.
4. That's it.
Yeah, 4-1 to win the division.
Oh, I'd rather take.
We're
Bears
talking about winning the
4-1.
division, not the entire conference.
No, I'd rather take the Bears at 4-1 than the Browns at 5. I think the Ravens are going to be good. I don't think Browns going.
Browns.
I think that's more than fair enough. I think if you get a little bit of variance. I don't think if you think they're going 10-6, 5-1's not bad in case just something happens in Baltimore.
Well, Myles Garrett.
They also make me nervous, like you said.
Myles Garrett is still not reinstated. We don't know if he'll ever be back.
Ever?
You don't know.
He's going to be back.
You have no idea.
Hey, by the way, Aldon Smith is officially back. I saw it.
Yeah.
He's in activities, dude. He's gonna be wrecking Carson Wentz this year.
Should be well rested after that 6-year.
Did you see the worst quarterback ever? Worst traits ever?
Who was
that? So it said Carson Wentz's injuries, Carson Wentz's accuracy, Carson Wentz's haircut. It was like an attribute thing, and it was all Carson Wentz. I was losing my mind. It was the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah,
anyway, go
ahead. I don't think they're gonna get Garrett for next season. So that's a big loss. He had 10 sacks. That was the leading on the team. So, I mean, he was a big factor. They also lost Schobert, who was their leading tackler, at 133 combined, 89 solo.
Yeah.
That was a big piece. I don't know. They're just a disappointing team.
What do you
I got an update for you guys. Myles Garrett is reinstated.
Boom.
Oh, really?
Live?
Today?
Yeah. No, not today.
I was like, I'm pretty sure. I thought Chris.
I thought he was.
Couple months ago.
Flex on him.
Are you sure?
You want to change your mind? What do you have him at?
No, I'm not changing. I have them at 8-8.
All right, that's. I can't believe Kevin has 6-10 though.
Is he really reinstated?
Holy moly!
Yeah.
All right, enough of the Browns. Let's
What
get.
do you want to call NFL.com?
Does anybody
I'm calling them right
anybody
now.
want Cincinnati? I'll just spit it out.
4-12,
Go.
3-13.
Yeah, I have them 3-13. Their defense is the problem. Their
Bengals?
Yeah. Do you hold on? You got to take on them?
I've got them at 6-10. I guess that's high.
Go ahead. Take off.
Ooh.
Yeah, they were missing AJ Green last year.
Is he coming back?
They put the franchise tag on him.
Yeah, but I mean, is he back?
I think he'll be back.
I drafted him.
I actually think they're not bad. Their offensive line, yes, is bad.
That's a problem.
That's a big problem. Joe Burrow, if he can just get his inner Joe Exotic, maybe grow out a mullet, maybe grow out a horseshoe.
That's what
mustache.
he should do, 100%.
He needs to become the Bengal King and he needs to seduce the opposing defense so that he can get touchdowns.
No, 100%. He needs to be Joe
Exotic.
He needs
Burrow.
to adapt that. Do you know how much he would sell? So many jerseys.
Yeah.
All the
He's
publicity.
the Bengal King. That's him.
He should.
He needs to do that.
But I think he looks like he's too nice.
Do it.
He won't do it. Joe Burrow, if you're out there, listen. I know you're not listening. If anybody out there that has any connection with Joe Burrow, tell him to embrace the Joe Exotic mantra and just run with it because he's on the bank. Like
he's the Bengal King.
Aren't Bengals? Are they?
They're tigers. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's still a Tiger King.
He was the Tiger King.
You don't
at
even
LSU.
have to be.
LSU was the.
What?
I mean,
you don't have to be. Whatever. Everybody knows. Everybody listening knows what we're saying. Joe Burrow, embrace it. You're going to put up numbers, but the problem isn't Joe Burrow in the offense because they got AJ Green, they got John Ross, and everybody hates on John Ross, but as a matter of fact, he was balling before he got hurt last year. They lost Tyler Eifert. Oh no,
he's always hurt.
Whatever. But so their biggest problem is defense. 6.1 yards per play allowed, 122 penalties. That was the third most in the NFL. It's they got the culture there is so bad.
Mm-hmm.
because I think it's I'm going to blame Vontaze Burfict. Sorry. He might come after me after this podcast. I don't know. Sorry, Vontaze, wherever you are. But like the culture's so bad that they have to, if they start winning, like the offense is going to be, I think the offense, they got Joe Mixon.
Yeah. I
Green,
think their offense
Ross,
could be good.
Tyler Boyd's nasty. Like they got pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like but listen to their schedule. So they play the Chargers. They got good defense. Cleveland. Myles Garrett's back. That's a problem for Joe Burrow. Philly's got good pass rush. They get the Jaguars, which we'll get to. I mean, we probably won't even talk about them. Sorry, Jacksonville. But then they got the Ravens, the Colts, Cleveland again, Tennessee. Like I see them starting 1-7.
Yeah, they do have a
and
tough.
the start is brutal for a rookie quarterback. Quarantine, you brought that up. Like no training camp really, but we'll see.
Here's the question for you: Joe Burrow plus 250, offensive rookie of the year. Worth a bet or no?
Yeah, I think.
First round.
He's gonna put up like
the first pick has gotten into the last 2 years.
I think what's Tua? 4?
Tua is 10-1.
I'd probably rather. You know how I bet though. I bet small amounts and I like the big dogs. So I'd probably take Tua. Then I have to bet less to win the same. All right, let's get in. So we got. Was that the first division?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, we spent way too much.
We're running long, baby.
Way too long on the back.
We're running long. We're breaking this up. All right, let's go the East.
Let's do the East. Go for it, Pat. Lead us in.
All right, Buffalo Bills. So they added Diggs, Josh Norman. They drafted Zach Moss. A lot of people don't. So they drafted Gabe Davis and Isaiah Hodgins. Both those guys are 6'4", out of UCF and Oregon State. I watched a lot of them in college, actually, and those guys are monsters. So the receiving core is bulked up. They lost Frank Gore. I love you, Frank Gore, but you're going to have – I mean, he might break all the rushing records this year. I mean, not this year, but eventually. He's going to be playing until he's – I don't know. He's an animal. Mm-hmm. Zach Moss, I think we'll give them another – Devin Singletary. Yeah. Let's talk about Devin Singletary. That guy's going to be a monster. Feed him the ball. Josh Allen, if he can be just more accurate.
Yeah, not so wild.
Just make the right decision. I remember when the playoff game, he was throwing laterals out of bounds. Like, it was insane. I don't know what took over his brain, but if he can take that, usually they take that step between the second and third year, I feel like. Mm-hmm. So they got great coaching. Their defense they got a top-notch defense. Dawson Knox is another weapon I didn't even mention. Cole Beasley. You know, you always need those little white boys running around. I got them at 12-4 and winning the division. Not even there's not even a question to me. I looked at their schedule. I don't have it on here, but their schedule wasn't daunting to me. I think they played the Ravens or the Chiefs, but I have them up beating. It's in Orchard Park. I want to go to a Bills game.
I think they're home on both of those.
If I could pick one game to go to, I think I'd probably go to a Bills Mafia game.
Mm-hmm. So they play the Cardinals. I'm going
to Buffalo.
No,
I want to go to Buffalo and just sit in the snow and eat snow.
I don't want to do that.
I want to eat snow the whole time.
You just want to get put through a table at a tailgate.
I would be put through.
Yeah, that's Bills Mafia.
Yeah, I'll go through a table. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
100%. I think the Bills are if the Chiefs, like I almost wanted to go higher, but their schedule is kind of like I think they play the Broncos, which we'll get to later, but I have them as one of my teams that I like. They got the Chiefs. They got their division. I think they're going to run. I think they're going probably 6-0 in their division.
Yeah, so
we'll get there in a minute. 12-4.
I've got them at the same 12-4. Yeah,
Woo!
Same thing. They got Josh Norman. I know he wasn't great. He hasn't been great for like 2 seasons, but if he can get back to that Pro Bowl playing level, they could be like a really good defense. They might lose Ed Oliver because he just got arrested, just like everyone else in the NFL. And Stephon Diggs, yeah. I mean, they're definitely going up, in my opinion. What do you got, Kevin?
I feel like a pessimist. I'm only at 8-8 on them. Their schedule scares me. If they have 2 rough stretches, they have a 4-game stretch in October where they're at the Raiders, at Tennessee, Kansas City at home. At the Jets isn't so bad, but it's still a road game. Mm-hmm. And then later on in the year, they go to San Francisco, Pittsburgh at home they go from San Francisco is a Monday nighter, Pittsburgh at home, then to Denver and to New England for a Monday night game. Not the best schedule in the world.
Yeah. They did
So
lose.
I have them at 8-8. I'm a little pessimistic. I'm not a believer in Josh Allen yet. I think you can only run so many times before teams just start figuring you out, make you throw the ball.
Yeah.
I'm so
And
mad right now.
I'm definitely not confident in him. So even with Diggs back there now, I'm not confident in him throwing the ball. I think teams are just going to keep Allen in front of him, make him throw the ball. And if he could throw the ball, great. I'll be glad to say I was wrong on 8-8. But
They also
I need to
lost their they also lost their leading sackers, Jordan Phillips and Shaq Lawson. I mean, I don't know. I think they're a good team.
Yeah, are you taking bets on this one? Because I 8-8.
You love the Bills?
Oh, I think yeah.
Yeah, I like them too.
What's their total?
Their win total is 9.
9?
Yeah, plus
Oh,
130
dude,
to
I
win
would
the
take the
division.
over on
I hope Trump sends us another stimulus check because I'm just gonna drive to Vegas and just bet on these things. This is insane. 9?
9.
They're
That's
going.
their win
They're
total.
going to be 6-0 before in the division.
I will take that.
I don't have them.
I don't think they go 6-0.
Yeah, obviously you
but-
would take that bet. What are you going to be like plus 800?
Yeah,
Right.
that second bad 4-game stretch has at New England at the end of it. So
let's get into New England. All right, so
all right, let's do it.
I'll do my take. It's short again. Lost Tom Brady. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Lost
Uninteresting offseason in Foxborough.
Yeah.
No, nothing noteworthy.
So you lose Tom Brady, big problem. You lose your O-line coach. I think that's he was been there for a while. That's a big problem. And they were first in turnover margin, and I think that has to do. Obviously, the defense was a big part. I don't remember. Who cares? You lost Tom Brady. You're going 5-11. This machine does not work. We saw Belichick before Tom, like in Cleveland. I know Cleveland's a dysfunctional place, but we saw Belichick. Belichick's trying to be the smartest guy in the room. He's great, but it's not. You don't do it by yourself. It's not a thing. He's going to try to prove everybody wrong. He's going go sign Cam Newton. You'd have a better chance. You're starting Jarrett Stidham, never taking a snap, no weapons. Who's he throwing the ball to? This was the argument last year.
They got
Stop. Don't.
got Edelman, Harry.
Okay, Edelman.
And
Did you say
Mohamed
Harry?
Sanu.
I'm
N'Keal Harry
You have Harry and Sanu.
and Edelman.
Sanu
I mean,
it sounds like
horrible.
sounds like Starsky and Hutch are out there catching passes. You have Edelman.
Horrible.
No, you have Edelman. I'm fired up now. It's not like I'm saying they're 2-4. 5-11.
And if their defense can bail them out, I mean, I don't know. They're not a horrible team.
I'm fired up. I know clearly Buffalo's going 8-8, so that means New England's probably winning the division. What do you got?
I do have them.
Oh,
I don't have that.
I'm
9 and
so
9
mad.
and 7. They I'm not the biggest Brady believer. I think he's past his prime. I think it's all Belichick. Matt Castle went 11-5 in a season. Jacoby Brissett, Jimmy G won games under Belichick. I don't think this team's gonna be nearly as good as last year though. Last year's record was it 13-3. That's not happening, obviously. I have them at 9-7. There's going to be some regression with the turnover margin and the fumble recovery coming back to earth. But the defense is still good. Even though the Lions poached like 3 guys off this defense, they'll figure out a way to make it work. 9-7, put them in the playoffs. Belichick's doing press conferences with Stidham and Matt Castle by his side saying, I can do anything. I don't need Tom Brady. 9-7, put him in the playoffs.
Did they go 13-3 last year?
Let's see. So I'm sorry, 12-4.
Still,
I was
are
about
you
to say,
kidding?
it was-
No,
yeah.
dude, I'm so. I
Their
can't.
defense
they
was
lost
really
that.
good.
They lost that Dolphins game at the end. They should have been 13-3. Really.
Yeah, Kenyon Drake got me like 15 points on the last play.
Yeah. Their point differential last year was a 13-win team.
I
Well,
don't care what you say.
I mean,
I can't.
I think their defense is going to regress. They lost Kyle Van Noy and Jamie Collins.
Ron Harmon.
Jamie Collins was like the best defensive player on the team.
Yeah, they lost Collins, Shelton, and Harmon all to the Lions.
Yeah, they all went to Lions.
Collins
All went to the
Collins
Lions.
was a huge player. Like he had 7 sacks, 3 fumbles, 3 interceptions. 1
I didn't even look at
touchdown.
that. Do you know
He
what my
was
notes
solid.
are? Those were my notes. It says Pats 5-11. Lost Tom Brady.
Yeah, I've got them at 7-9.
All right.
I'm kind of.
I guess that's not. No one's saying they're going.
I think that Brady needs Belichick. Belichick needs Brady. I think it's just that.
So in what?
It's that
not even a
perfect-
year from now.
It's
In
that
8
perfect
months.
match.
In 8 months from
they're
now.
a match made in heaven.
So in 8 months from now, when Brady's in the playoffs and Belichick's sitting at home, is it Bruce Arian and his weapons, or is it Tom Brady?
It's not going to be that.
Oh, you guys are okay. I'm so mad right now. I love Brady though. Like, yeah, whatever.
I mean, he's one of the greatest. There's no. Yeah.
Here's something for you guys to consider.
There's
too.
a lot of greatest.
The Pats and the Bills are essentially the same odds and same season win total for the division.
Yeah.
So it's basically the same thing market wise.
Yeah, I guess that's yeah.
So I'll gladly take the Patriots in a bet over the Bills.
All right.
With you guys if you want.
We'll do it. We're gonna do a bet board soon.
I would
for
probably
sure.
do that.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
I'll take the Patriots over the Bills.
All right, let's get into this Devontae Parker, Mike Adams debacle. Did anybody see that?
I did not.
No, I
should have
didn't.
wrote it down. So they're tweeting at each other. Mike Thomas said something about being better. Devontae Parker said, "Well, you got Drew Brees." Like he didn't say that. He said they're putting the numbers up and they're like arguing over who's better.
Yeah, I think I skimmed past that. Yeah.
And Devontae. So the argument is like Devontae Parker has really had. I mean, he has Fitzmagic, but he's had crazy quarterbacks. And Mike Thomas has Drew Brees. I'm not saying like Devontae Parker's better, but the numbers are. I should have wrote the Twitter feed down so I could. I can't believe you didn't see this, Kevin. You're a Twitter machine.
Okay, well, I hate to do
I
this
spent
to
way
you.
too much time on Twitter, too. I'm surprised I didn't see this either.
Do you take that argument into account when you're talking about Fitz and his quarterbacks being the greatest? No, you don't. He didn't. He's never had great quarterbacks, but he's put up numbers.
He had Palmer put up numbers with that fool. He had Kurt
Palmer,
Warner.
he had
Kurt
Palmer.
Warner. Kurt Warner's bagging groceries, full slinging dick around for 37. He's in the Hall of Fame. He played 3 years. He's bagged groceries.
4 years. That's 4 years of his career.
We can have this talk later,
okay.
Chris.
I was just
Kurt
saying.
Warner's
I'm just
bagging groceries. Called him. Then he's in the Hall of Fame, just slinging passes around the field. Super Bowls.
Go ahead.
All right. Okay. What's the next one? Miami.
New York Jets.
No, we're on the
New York Jets.
No, we're on Miami.
Fitzmagic or Tua? Who's starting?
I would start Fitzmagic.
Yeah.
Really? Even though spending that high draft pick on Tua?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I give Tua time to heal.
Yeah, I'm not too big on that hip. I'm not a big Tua guy anyways.
Yeah, but so you're saying the injury, or Chris is saying the injury. You're saying just because you're not big on Tua.
Yeah, I was never big on Tua to begin with. Like most of the quarterbacks that come out of, I know Tua's probably more talented than these guys, but most of the quarterbacks that come out of Alabama really don't do much in the NFL. I think they're a product of the talent around them more so than how good they actually are.
I feel that.
All right, here you go for a week 1 starter. DraftKings has Fitzpatrick minus 400.
Dang. I think Fitz should start. I don't know like what their game plan is. Tua, I actually liked Tua before he got hurt. Like when watching him was different than watching AJ McCarron and all those other Alabama. I know you brought up the Alabama quarterbacks.
I feel like Tua's better than all those guys.
Yeah, 100%.
But I don't know if he's still an NFL. When we take a guy like 5th overall, you're expecting all pro talent.
Right.
I'm just not sure that's there yet.
Yeah,
maybe it happens, but
they finished the season pretty well. Like people thought they were tanking, and Fitzmagic was just delivering time after time. Like Devontae had a breakout year. Preston Williams was really good until he went down. The funny part was their running backs was I don't even know. So they had this is their running backs. Kalen Ballage, he averaged 1.8 yards per carry. Patrick Laird 2.7. Mark Walton 3.8. Myles Gaskin 3.7. Their leading rusher last year was Ryan Fitzpatrick. He had 2 in touchdowns and yards. He had 243 yards and 4 touchdowns. That was leading in both of their categories. So they added Jordan. Go ahead.
I don't think that's good.
No, that's definitely not good. So they added they got Matt Breida. They added Jordan Howard also from Philly. They added Byron Jones, your guy, Chris. Kyle Van Noy, Shaq Lawson. And they got a couple more O linemen. So I mean, they're making the right steps. I just don't know if they need to blow it out this year. They have more. I know they have more picks. So I think, and I think Fitzmagic can provide. I hate to lean on Fitzmagic because I want him to be I want him to win a Super Bowl or something, so he can just rock the beard at the Super Bowl. It'd be the best interview of all time. But obviously that's not happening. But Tua, I think, should wait a year.
Yeah,
and then next
I
year,
say a year,
or towards the end of the year.
Yeah,
but I think they can be competitive in a lot of games.
I think they can
because they added a lot of defense. They play their hearts out. Whoever's their coaching staff, they probably don't get enough credit just because they've been bad. But I have them at 5. I have them the same 5-11. They'll be competitive. They'll try to win. They're not going to tank for Trevor, whatever the
Trevor
mantra is.
Lawrence. Yeah.
So I have them tying the Patriots at 5-11.
Yeah, I got them at 6-10. So just
Same.
yeah, pretty close to the same. And I
Yeah.
have the same notes as you. So yeah.
I have them at 6-10. I love the direction they're going.
Yeah.
I think I think last year's tank was kind of a failure in a way. They only had the 5th overall pick, but they still landed the guy when they started the tank. They landed the guy that they set out to get. So
Definitely.
it's not really like a true failure. But I love what they did, trading Minka Fitzpatrick, getting a draft pick there, trading Tunsil. They also have Houston's 1st and 2nd round pick in the 2021 draft.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to load up
up
again next year. They're going to have 2 firsts, 2 seconds.
And we'll get to
And then
Houston.
they have, they have, I mean, they're cheering for Houston to lose throughout the year too. I think it's a year early for them, but I love the direction they're going. I think they're doing this completely right, loading up on high-level draft picks, trading off guys that they don't want to sign long-term. They're doing this the right way. I think it's a year or two early, but I think in like 2 or 3 years, the team's easily a playoff team.
Yeah.
And we're talking about them maybe winning playoff games at that point.
I agree. All right, Jets. And what do you? I don't care about the Jets.
The
Anybody got
Jets.
anything?
Sam Darnold, he went out with mono.
Does Sam Darnold not have the biggest head, or is it an illusion?
He does
head
have
is
a pretty big
monster.
head.
Like Google his head.
Yeah.
Like this player profile
Yeah.
pic. It's square or something. It's like it's square.
Yeah.
Let me ask
It's
you
like a
guys
Lego
this.
head.
Go.
Let me ask you. I have the Jets at 4-12. It could be worse. If they do land a top 2 draft pick just by chance, do they get rid of Darnold next year? Do they go with Fields or Lawrence, whoever's available?
I think they trust Darnold,
I don't know.
honestly. I don't think
Because this
they
would be the
go
point where you could walk away from Darnold at that
For
point.
cheap,
I think
yeah.
you only have to eat like 1 year of dead cap space, and then after that, you have like a team option on him.
This is stupid, but I actually Googled today. If you have a big head, do you get sick more?
Yeah, it makes sense. Then the model makes
Like
sense.
because your big head's out there and the germs are flying at you. Do they get hit? Like I don't know if Darnold even has a big face. I just know he has a square face and it's large. So, and he got mono. That's from kissing. But do you get sick more by having a large
Hey,
head?
what's the over/under on the chances of Darnold getting coronavirus?
No, he's not.
Ooh.
He's in New York. He might have
He's
already
in
had
New
it.
York. He's got a big head. He's got a lot
Yeah,
working.
so I lined up a lot of his weird injuries, and he had mono until like week 5.
He's had multiple
Then he-
weird injuries?
Yeah, he had a sprained thumb.
I didn't even know
He had a
this.
sprained thumb in week 8, and then he had he lost his toenail in week 7.
Did he? Please tell me
Yes.
he played.
That shit
I
sounds
think
really
he-
painful.
I
He
think
sat
did
out with
play.
a toenail missing?
I think he might have played. I didn't look
Did
all
they
that
call
up, but he gets some weird injuries, so he's very likely of getting the coronavirus.
No, it's going down.
It might happen.
It's gonna clear. Everybody's gonna. No one's gonna have it for like 6 months, and all of a sudden it's like Sam Darnold, first guy in
don't know.
6 months to have coronavirus. He's been
Darnold
quarantined
plays
for
in
2
New York.
weeks. He's out.
Darnold plays in New York. He's from Southern California. I mean, if there's ever been a candidate for Corona, it's probably him. Him in that head.
That's what the Jets will do. They'll be 2-6 and be like Darnold's out for 2 weeks. He's got to be self quarantined. He thinks he has corona. I am at 3-13. That's a valid question, and I haven't looked into like who the prospects are coming out. But if they're first or second, or if they are in line to get Fields or Trevor Lawrence,
Fields or Lawrence are going to be the top 2 picks next year.
Well, like,
so
there's-
if you win,
Adam Gase being there's a problem. Jamal Adams already wants out. The rumors have started.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
there's trouble brewing there. I could see him moving off, but moving off is I don't know. I would
Do you
move
think
off
Gase
him just because he has a big head, but that's me.
It's got a
you-
big
all right,
spleen
so
too.
Big
here's a hypothetical for you. Their schedule goes at Buffalo, home San Francisco, at Indy, home Denver, home Arizona.
0-5.
It's very realistic. 1-4, 0-5. Does Gase get
I
fired?
forgot about this, bro. Did you see who they signed? What are they doing? I can't believe I didn't write this down. So they signed Frank Gore.
Mm-hmm.
Like you want to get younger, right? I get the vet. I love Frank Gore. You get the veteran leadership, whatever. You have Le'Veon Bell. I think Frank Gore and Le'Veon Bell might fight
Yeah,
just because that's not a good thing. Then 2 days ago, they signed Joe Flacco.
yeah, I saw that.
How does he have a job still?
Well, what better backup quarterback though?
Colin Kaepernick?
Besides maybe Cam.
Cam, yeah.
Colin Kaepernick's better than Joe Flacco. I don't care what anybody says. We're not going to get into the whole reasoning why, but why are we?
Nobody's letting Kaepernick back in the league.
But we watched Joe Flacco play the first 4 games at Denver last year, and he was 0-4. He's slinging the ball out at 70 feet out of bounds. Couldn't hit anything. Like this is absurd to me.
If Flacco's playing meaningful time next year, the Jets are getting one of the top 2 picks.
Yes,
Darnold's probably gone. Gates is probably gone.
Yeah, 3-13 is where I'm. I don't know why we spent so much time on the Jets. Who signs
Yeah,
Flacco? You sign Flacco, you're
terrible team.
last place. Flacco.
All right, let's move to the AFC South.
South? All right, let me switch over. Oh, you guys are gonna. This. You guys can start because you're gonna be your mind's gonna explode when I tell you what's happening.
I don't think so.
All right, I'll go first. I'll start with Indy. This is who I have winning the division. It pains me to say that for certain reasons amongst friends that we have, but I hate the fact that the Colts are probably going to win this division this year. But I do like what they did. They traded away their first round pick and got DeForest Buckner, which is great because they have the cap space for Buckner. And on top of it, you're not finding DeForest Buckner in that draft. There's not a guy that's comparable to him. Mm-hmm. I hate the fact that they signed Phil Rivers though. I don't think Rivers has much. I don't think he's much better than Brissett. I don't know why they signed him. They paid him way too much money. Luckily, I think it's only a 1-year deal, so they can walk away from it after this year. But I think by default, they win this division. I actually wouldn't be shocked if it was Brissett playing quarterback at the end of the year either.
Yeah.
They got Xavier Rhodes, and they drafted Michael Pittman Jr. and Jonathan Taylor. I like what they did with the draft. I thought it was a pretty good draft. The only real loss is Edge Jabal Sheard and Eric Ebron. Devin Funchess is whatever. No big loss there. 9-7. I think they win the division just because it's not that great of a division. So that's where I have them at. Put them in the playoffs.
You want me to go? All right. So last year they started 5-2. They lost 5 of the last 6. T.Y. Hilton played 10 games. Mack played 14, even though he was in. I remember watching their games, and he was in and out. He wasn't healthy. Brissett played 14. Brian Hoyer had to start a couple. They lost one to Fitzmagic. Ebron played 11. They had a lot of injuries, basically what I'm saying. Darius Leonard only played 13. I know it sounds like a lot, but down the stretch, they lost 5 of the last 6, like I said. They got Buckner. Rivers, I think, is I think Rivers, with that offense, if he has – I think coaching was Rivers' problem on defense. That coach in Los Angeles Chargers had made a ton – he looks like the guy with Blood Diamond, first of all. Let me get to that. But second of all, he made terrible decisions late game decisions that I think cost the Chargers a lot of games. They added Jonathan Taylor, which is huge because I think they can keep Marlon Mack healthy. Mm-hmm. They can limit his touches, give Taylor touches. They still have Nyheim Hines, which I think can be an Austin Eckler type player. Like I think they're going to be so run heavy, and that O-line is so good with Quentin Nelson and all those guys. Pittman is a tall receiver similar to Mike Williams. Like Rivers loves the tall guys. T.Y. Hilton, like I said, only played 10 games, and he's another weapon that's huge. Jack Doyle's a serviceable tight end. He's going to be fine. Rhodes is a corner. They needed a corner. They open at Jacksonville. They get Minnesota and the Jets at home. They got to go to Chicago, which I think Chicago is going to be better. I don't know where I had that game landing. And then they get Cincinnati. And then they close. So those are their first 5. They close with Houston, which we'll get to in a minute. Vegas, Houston again, Pittsburgh, which I already talked about, which I don't think is going to be improved, and then Jacksonville. So their opening and closing schedules, to me, are pretty soft. Like I feel like they can go 8-2. I have them going probably like 9-1 in those games because I have them finishing at 14-2.
Whoa!
Number 1 seed in the AFC.
Wow. Yeah, so I think they're definitely going to be the number 1 defense this year. I think with all their moves, they're solid there. Rivers, I think, is an upgrade from Brissett. I'm looking at, I think Paris Campbell is going to be really good this year.
Yeah, slot guy, money.
Yeah, slot guy, and they got the tall guy.
Pittman.
Yeah, Pittman.
And Hilton.
They just got him. Hilton's going to be running also, but Paris he's fast. And
you love speed.
You're
like Ricky Bobby.
Hey, that's the NFL now. It's all about speed.
I want to go fast.
So I got them going 12-4.
Wow, I thought that was pretty optimistic.
Yeah, no, I think this was my hot take of the day. The Colts, I think 14-2 is asking a lot, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever their win total is, I'm taking the over.
8.5.
Yeah. Oh my!
I
Are
would
you
definitely
kidding me?
take
I'm
that.
losing it.
Yeah.
I feel like the win totals are. I want to take over on all of them. All right.
8.5.
So
do you think Phillip Rivers catches Antonio Cromartie and kids? And
what are
born?
they at? Rivers has 7.
I think he's closer to like 10.
Rivers? Did he have another one?
I thought he was. Yeah, I thought he had another one.
I don't know. We'll have to check that out. But I don't know.
I know he's got a ton of kids.
We should have. That's one of our. That's the next list we'll do. Because I know Travis. Remember Travis Henry had like 7, but his problem was there were like 7 different. We're spreading rumors. All right, so Colts 14-2. I know that's insane, but their schedule lines up. I think they catch Baltimore at home, and I think I have Indy winning that game. They beat the Chiefs last year, or I think they beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think they won a
Sunday night game. They just came in and just. So they have, and I like their coaching. Frank Reich has done a good job. 2 years ago, I think they went 10-6 or 11-5. Last year they had a lot of injuries, and like I said, they folded down the stretch. But I think, and Luck retiring last year was a big. I mean, that's out of nowhere. You don't really plan for that.
Yeah, that was a tough.
So I think with that, with Rivers coming in, I used to hate Rivers, but the more I've watched him, and I don't necessarily think it's all his fault. Like he plays with so much passion, and I think that coach is a issue.
20 interceptions last year.
I just think he shot puts the football now.
Like, I don't know how I don't get how he throws it. No,
yeah.
All right, but yeah. So that's 14-2, but call me crazy.
All right, let's move on.
All right,
enough about Phillip Rivers and his kids.
You guys go ahead and start with whatever you guys want.
Let's go to Tennessee next, because I think that's the next logical step in this division.
Yeah,
I've got them at 9-7 this year. I think they sneak into the playoffs again. Not much changed with them in the offseason. They had a decent draft, nothing great. They do lose Jack Conklin, which worries me a bit, especially on such a run-heavy team.
Yeah.
They lose Jarrell Casey off the defensive line, Delaney Walker. Their defensive coordinator retired last year, and they're going to go defensive coordinator by committee, it seems like, right now. So that's a bbit worrisome. That's why I have them stepping back a little bit. I know they snuck in the playoffs last year, so it's not like a huge step back, but I think 9-7, they make the playoffs again.
They went 9-7 last year.
Yeah. I don't know if they'll be as surprising. I don't know if they'll win 2 playoff games on the road, essentially. That's what I'm saying.
So they won't have that playoff. That playoff run. Yeah, I agree.
If they would have bowed out in the first round, no one would remember last year's team.
Yeah.
But because they won 2 road playoff games, we remember them.
Yeah. It's pretty obvious Derrick Henry's a freaking beast. That guy's just massive. A.J. Brown going in his second season. He had a really good rookie year. I don't really trust Tannehill. That's my biggest thing. I'm not super sold on him.
Well, that's my number one note.
Losing Jack Conklin, so their line is going to take a hit there. He was a starter. He was a key piece. So I have them at 8-8. What do you got, Pat?
I got, my first note was Tannehill, not buying it.
Yeah.
Like the playoff games he threw, I think one of the games he threw for 80 yards. When you have Henry, I get it, and the playoffs are a different animal. Like the environment's different and all that. They open at Denver, which I think is going to be good, at Minnesota. So they open back-to-back road games. Actually, I don't know if that's –
No, they got Jacksonville in between those two.
And then Minnesota, okay. And then they got Buffalo, Pitt. So so those 4 out of the 5 games, and although I said Pitt isn't going to be, as good, I picked them at 7-9. So I think they can beat Tennessee. Vrabel is a coordinator. I don't understand that. He's just playing it by ear. And then Henry and A.J. Brown, obviously, like you said, are complete animals. Like those guys, A.J. Brown just burst on the scene last year. Like get that guy the ball.
Yeah.
Corey Davis was a disappointment.
I hope he can just step up. I loved Corey Davis when he got drafted. But.
And their defense is going to be solid. I haven't the typical finish 9. I have them at 9-7. Like they're in, and I have Houston down. We'll get to them. But I have Houston being down this year, and Jacksonville's in their division. So I have them at 9-7. I don't have them in the playoffs, but 9-7. I don't think I have them in the playoffs. Whatever. Yeah. So 9-7. So 9-7, 8-8 is where they're going to finish.
Yeah.
Every year, that's where they go.
I've got them getting the 7th seed.
We're all in the same ballpark in a way, though. Like we're all within like a game of each other, 2 games of each other on them. So
Yeah,
So
I have them at 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just find them such an uninteresting team. I just want to move on from them.
Yeah. Well,
Because I really want to move to Houston though, because I just want to shit all over Bill O'Brien. I have no idea what he's doing.
Yeah.
all right. Well,
like,
you can go ahead.
Yeah.
Shit all over the place.
I think I'm like really high on them at 7 and 9, and that's only because Deshaun Watson's their quarterback. And
Yeah.
I feel like he single-handedly is going to win like 5 games for them that they probably shouldn't win. And they're going to end up still missing the playoffs at 7 and 9. I also think he might punch Bill O'Brien at some point during the year too. Like clearly losing DeAndre Hopkins and then replacing him with Brandon Cooks and Randall Cobb, I would lose my mind if I was Deshaun Watson. Like I wouldn't report to training camp, none of it. I don't know what direction Bill O'Brien's going in. Like I get it, you might not like DeAndre Hopkins, but he's one of the best wide receivers in the league, if not the best wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's ridiculous. I don't know how O'Brien still has a job there. I don't know how ownership hasn't fired him. They won the division last year with a negative point differential. They went 10-6, and they probably should have been more like 8-8 or 7-9. Like it's not going to happen again this year. 7-9, miss the playoffs. If Deshaun Watson's lucky, Bill O'Brien gets fired. If not, unless they trade him away, then he'll still be even lucky. But he needs to get out of there. Like they're not doing him any favors. They're going to get him killed too.
Yeah, I have the same thing. I don't see Brandon Cooks and Randall Cobb taking over for Hopkins, who had 104 receptions. That's more than double the second highest receptions on the team. Like he was really carrying the team. He's a valuable player. So yeah, I have the same thing. Bill O'Brien, he's going to be on the hot seat, and I have them at 5 and 11. I think they're the team to regress this year.
Oh, I have them at 5 and 11 also. So you replace Carlos Hyde. I don't get his shake, dude. I feel like Carlos Hyde. I know I'm a Niner fan, and he started in Frisco, but I feel like he's gotten the shit end of the stick for the most part.
He's Seattle now.
Yeah, no.
Are you kidding me? I thought Duke Johnson did. They traded a 3rd-round pick for Duke Johnson and never used him.
Yeah, well, no. I mean, overall, because Hyde went to Kansas City. He performed well in Frisco. He left.
He just went to Seattle.
Hyde's
today.
in Seattle.
Yeah.
Hyde signed with Seattle today. But, I mean, for Houston to get rid of him and replace him with David Johnson, I know David Johnson has been awesome, but the key word there has been awesome.
Keyword, I was like, keyword been. It's over for him.
And running backs, I mean, there's been some that obviously can continue this, and I feel like Hyde has been consistent producer for even I think even when it's Kansas City, I didn't verify that, but I thought he put up decent. Mm-hmm. He's a valuable piece.
Yeah. And
to get rid of him and replace him with Johnson, whenever Johnson goes down, then you got Duke Johnson. But Duke's fine. But last year they were scrambling for a running back. So they had a guy that produced for him, and then they got rid of him. So I don't know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. They got David Johnson. You got Cooks and Cobb. I hope they have some stretchers available they need to have 2 stretchers on the sidelines at all games. Okay. Cobb has him Cooks since the Super Bowl when he got destroyed, has him when he was with New England, has him in the same. He did okay the first year with the Rams, but then he got hurt again, and he's just fragile. Mm-hmm. Cobb is the same way. I feel like every 4 or 5 games, he breaks like an 80-yarder, and like, oh, Randall Cobb's back. And then he's out for 4 or 5 games. Like, where'd Randall Cobb go? He's like one of those 2020 cases where you don't know what's happened to him. So to replace DeAndre Hopkins with those 2 guys just doesn't make sense to me. Yeah. And then you have, on top of that, you have Will Fuller, who goes missing. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I feel like Deshaun Watson's playing with a bunch of guys that are on milk cartons, Like, where'd they go? Like, he's going to be playing games. Like, oh, where's this guy? He was on the milk carton today. So they're not performing today.
This could get ugly quick, too. Let me read you their schedule. To start, at Kansas City.
Loss.
Home Baltimore.
Loss.
At Pittsburgh. Yeah. Home Minnesota. They get Jacksonville at home. That'll be a win. And then they go to Tennessee.
Yeah.
1 and 5 is very realistic.
Yeah, I feel like best case scenario is 3-3.
I think 3-3 is impossible.
Fair enough. I'm saying
schedule,
best case. If, like you said,
it would be like 2 and 4.
If you like Deshaun, then that's my last note. Deshaun Watson's amazing, but it's a team game.
Yeah,
I have them starting out 1 and 5, and I could really see Bill O'Brien getting fired after trading away DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah,
and they lost DJ Reader, D tackle, and Jonathan Joseph, their corner. So I don't know what, and they were one of the worst defenses last year up until obviously JJ Watt's back, and he's a game changer. But I don't see it. Might as well bring back
Yeah.
Matt Schaub and trade
And-
Watson and
yeah.
just rebuild.
I need to do some more research on how well ownership likes Bill O'Brien because he's his own GM.
Yeah.
No,
And
now he's the coordinator.
If they start out 1-5, like he has to be on the hot seat at that point. I know they won the division last year, but they won it with a negative point differential.
There's got to be something.
It's
That's pretty lucky.
It's pretty much the Houston Bill O'Brien's.
There's got to
and
be
doing a
like
horrible
he's
job.
got to be like married to the owner's daughter or the
Yeah.
grandson because now he's the coach, he's the GM, and he's the coordinator left, right? Dean Pete. I think I read
I
that,
think so.
and they didn't replace him, so now he's he's playing coordinator.
Yeah,
It's insane.
I mean, if they start out 1-5 too, how much does DeAndre or
Watson.
Deshaun Watson actually care about?
Well, I
you
think
know, trying to finish the season.
he'll care. He's a gamer,
Yeah.
but still.
Yeah, he is, but
Yeah.
like that's got to be so discouraging to start out 1-5, and you know,
Well, they started-
you know your season's going nowhere.
Didn't they
at that point.
last year? Didn't they start 0-4? Or was that the year before and they made the playoffs?
I don't know. I don't remember, but I can't imagine they started at 0-4 and then finished 10-6. That'd be 10-2 down the stretch.
Yeah, no, they finished. They were 0-4.
Were they really?
Maybe it was
They started
0-3. 0-3 or 0-4, and they're the first team in NFL history to do that. And they made the
Wow.
playoffs. I think that was 2 years. But that was when the Colts were having issues. The whole division was trash. And obviously I have Indy going 14-2, which is insane. Tennessee's obviously better. So we'll see. Jacksonville, anybody have anything? I have Minshew's mustache. That's the only note I wrote.
Nah, last year they started out okay. They started out 4-2 last year.
So it was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So Jacksonville, Minshew's mustache. That's the only note I wrote. That's the only thing cool about Jacksonville. That's all I'm going to say about it. And that's it.
Doug Marone gets fired. They go
Jacksonville's dream season is going 1-15 and getting the first overall pick.
Yeah.
That's the best. That's their best case scenario.
Yep. Agreed.
All right. So shout out to Jacksonville. Thanks for having UFC fights, but your football team, shot. All
Well,
right.
they got Tampa.
Let's go in the West. Kansas City. I'm short here, 13-3. No change. No changes. They got the 3-name running back, Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Mm-hmm.
They got a tough schedule. The road games, they got Baltimore, Denver, the Saints, Buffalo, Tampa. So we'll get some good quarterback matches. We got, Mahomes and Brady, Mahomes and Breeze, Mahomes and Jackson. But just if they can't, I guess they can. They can't. I was going to say they can't fall behind in games 21-0 and just keep coming back, but apparently they can because they just did that shit.
I got them at 12-4. Same thing.
Yeah.
They lost, or they might lose Rashad Breeland, which was their starting corner. He got arrested.
If their whole defense vanished off the face of the earth and we just had to pick up college players to replace them, then they'd be fine. So that's what they didn't lose anybody on offense. So it's like,
exactly.
okay, well,
they're the same on offense. They
can win 56-49.
They won 12-4 last year, so I got them the same.
Yeah, I got them 10. I'm sorry, not 10. 11-5. They lost Kendall Fuller, kind of a loss. The offense is sick though. They're going to be back in the playoffs. They win the division. It's just a matter of whether they grab the 1 seed or not, which is actually really big this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So last year they would have had to play an extra playoff game, but
and fall behind again and come back.
Yeah, it does matter that grabbing that 1 seed is important. I have them at 11-5 though.
Oh,
actually, you know what I do? I do have them as the 1 seed. Never mind. Sorry. Yeah, 11-5, 1 seed, home field throughout.
You do have a lot of parity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I missed her like everybody's pretty much finishing 9-7, 8-8, 7-9 in that area. So.
All right.
Except for the Chiefs, 11-5.
All right, Denver. I love Denver.
I got them beating the Chiefs in Week 7. It's gonna happen.
One game. Oh, I have that too.
Well, yeah. It's the Chiefs. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to beat them that game.
All
going
right.
to the Broncos.
Defense. You want go ahead.
I'll just start it off. I got them at 9-7.
All right.
They lost Chris Harris, Derek Wolfe. They got AJ Boy. I don't know.
1 point. Do you know who they gained that no one's saying?
Who's that?
Gained?
Bradley Chubb. Because he only played 4 games last year, so that's a gain. That's a big
definitely,
addition.
Yeah. Okay.
Daddy's back.
I
Chubb.
didn't realize he was injured last. Yeah.
All right, go.
And then Cortland Sutton, I think He was getting out of the receivers. He was getting 37% of the receptions. That's obviously going to go down with Jerry Jeudy coming in. I still think he's going to put up big numbers. I like Drew Lock, and Broncos. I like them.
Kev?
I got them 7-9. I think we're a year early on. I like where they're going though, but 7-9.
All right.
Nothing special. I just think the offense needs another year. It's a lot of first and second year players on that offense. I think the defense will be great though.
Yeah. So last year the defense was ranked 10th, even with Chubb being out, and obviously that takes. So in 2 years ago when Chubb was a rookie and he played the full season, Von Miller had 14.5 sacks and Chubb had 12. Last year Chubb played 4 games so obviously they can focus more on Miller. Miller only had 8.5, and they still finished 10th in ranked defense last year. They added AJ Bouye from Jacksonville, which 2 years ago he's a Pro Bowler. So I think, hopefully, I'm hoping he can replace Chris Harris because Chris Harris was a big loss. They got Jarrell Casey from Tennessee. On offense, they added Melvin Gordon, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, which is no one. I watched him at Penn State, and that's going to be a nasty. And they have Deshaun Hamilton, so they have Hamler and Hamilton.
Noah Fant.
Both from Penn State. Noah Fant's an animal. They also drafted Drew Lock's tight end from Missouri, Albert. Oh, I don't know how to say his name. It's like
Alberto.
Alberto. I call him Alberto. You know what I'm talking about? The big ass.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I can't pronounce his name either though.
He's a monster. So I used him on DraftKings every week because he would get So anyway, Drew Lock last year, they started with Joe Flacco. We saw how that turned out. They started terribly. They lost some brutal games. Their defense played strong. Drew Lock was 4-1 as a starter. He had 7 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. I feel like he managed the game well, but this year he's actually got weapons. I remember he threw a game winner and the guy dropped in the end zone. I think it was against Oakland, against the Raiders. But so Drew Lock has shown he can win games.
His only loss was against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And that was like a snowy ass game, and
right. So
they got blown out. But
so Denver, they're definitely moving in the right direction. I'm saying they're moving in a real strong direction because I see the offense being vastly improved with Melvin Gordon and Phillip Lindsay, and they still have Freeman. I think, I don't know, but they have those 3 backs. Judy's a weapon. Sutton, we saw Sutton, Fant, Alberto, Hamilton. So I see the offense doing good. And with the combination of Chubb coming back, it's going to make Miller better and Chubb. I have him at 13-3 also.
You have him at 13-3?
Yeah. KC gets the edge based on because I did the whole entire schedule. So I did every game win and loss, so it kind of balances out like exactly what they're going to be. But I have them both finishing 13-3. I think I have Denver beating Kansas City in 1, and then I think I haven't beaten. I don't remember. They're both 13-3. Kansas City does win the division based on like strength of schedule from my fill-ins, but I have them at 13-3. That's going to be them and the Colts, man. I got some crazy takes, I guess. If anybody's listening, I'm sure I'm going to get some comments, but I don't know.
You can grab the Broncos at 10-1 to win the West.
The problem is the top is so. I know I'm saying 13-3. And those are my like high expectations, but I fully believe the Chiefs and the Ravens. And you said the Browns and
Yeah, but if you have them within a game of each other, you should be taking 10-1 on a team.
Yeah, but they're like the Denver is that's like their ceiling. So if they go 11-5, I'm gonna say I was right.
Now you're being like a UFC fighter.
No, I'm not gonna say I won the bet. I'm not gonna be like, I fucking cashed that ticket.
In a 4-team race, you have 2 teams within a game of each other, and one team is getting 10-1, and the other's laying 4-1. You should be all over the team that's 10-1.
All right, you're right, dude.
Willing to take a shot at them.
All right, you're right. Just Trump, send me some more stimulus money, baby. All right, let's move on to Vegas. Speaking of betting, let's move on to the Las Vegas Raiders.
Viva Las Vegas.
Viva.
All
right, so last year there were. This blew my mind. They're negative 106 point differential.
Is that bad?
That's bad, but they finished 7-9. So that's amazing to me. So they added. I feel like they added some pieces. Like Torrey Littleton was a good ad. Nick Kwiatkowski, I like his name. Kwiatkowski.
Kwiatkowski.
From Chicago, they added him. they added Nelson Aguilar. Well, we know all know the stories about that guy.
Malik Collins.
But I don't see the big. They added speed. I know you love speed. Kris has him 16-0 with speed. Henry Ruggs, fastest receiver, all that stuff. I just don't. With the move going on, the coronavirus. Obviously, I think Kansas City and Denver are both going 13-3. So I have them finished in respect. I have them 7-9. I think they'll be better. They have some good pieces. Josh Jacobs is nice. I think Carr is he's a good quarterback, but he's just not in the right situation. Like if you put him on a high octane offense, I think they'd be good. But I just have them 7-9. Like that's it, 7-9.
Dude, you forgot about the Jason Witten signing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I didn't forget about it. I just
nothing like having a 38-year-old tight end.
I feel like he's gonna get like 100 catches this year, though. No, because Clive. I said Clive. I was gonna say Clive Owen.
You got Darren Waller, dude. Darren Waller's actually a really good tight end.
Clive Owen? Clive Owen's an actor.
Yeah.
Clive Walford. Do you remember him? Who's on? Dude, I don't know what I'm talking about. Clive Owen's an actor. I thought he was playing tight end for the Raiders. I don't know what's happening. Clive Walford.
Yes. Denzel Washington's gonna be in their secondary.
He's the back. No, he's the running back. D. Washington. Did you guys ever do that when you were little? Like, did you play Madden when you were little?
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever, if you didn't know the name of the guy you were running with, did you just make up a name?
Just make up something up.
So, like, say it was like so the guy running the ball was like Jay Washington, and you'd be like, oh, it's Jimmy Washington, and then a couple years later, you'd be like, oh, it's not Jimmy, it's John.
That's not his name.
I would just make up the name. Like, oh,
yeah, why not?
Yeah, I still do that to this day. If I don't know, I'm like, oh, it's Arthur Cunningham. All right, I don't know what happened. 7-9. I got the Vegas Raiders finishing at 7-9.
Yeah, 6-10 for me. Nothing special. Their quarterback situation sucks because they have two guys that are probably similar talent. I don't know. I'm not too big on them. I am looking forward to going and seeing that stadium when UNLV plays there and I can afford it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, 6-10. Nothing special. Missed the playoffs.
Yeah, I got them 5-11. I actually don't have them at 16-0. I don't love the speed on their team because they can't use that speed. I don't think Derek Carr can throw to those speedy guys. He can't throw it that far. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He does not have the cannon.
I feel like you're mad right now. Like you're staring at me right now like you're angry. Did you see that?
Well, you're the only thing I could stare at.
Fair enough.
Hey, no, locking eyes.
All right.
I have them at 5-11.
5-11. Let's finish up with the Los Angeles Chargers. I got the hiccups. It's terrible.
I still call them San Diego.
I did last podcast.
Yeah, it's sort of out of habit and sort of out of spite.
Dean Spanos makes me angry.
Yeah, he's a shitty owner.
Every time I hear his name, though, I think of Thanos.
You think of what?
Thanos from the Avengers.
Thanos?
He's got the rings on his hand.
Not an Avengers fan.
You didn't watch it?
No, I'm not a comic book movie fan.
I don't think he's like trying to collect stones or anything. Dean Spanos, Thanos,
the
whatever.
big purple guy.
Yeah. I've been anti-comic book movies since I fell asleep during the first Spider-Man, and I learned Tobey Maguire was a vegan, and I just can't have my superheroes being vegan. I just can't do it. It doesn't sit right with me.
Damn it, Kevin.
Like to think that Batman would like pass on a steak, like that would never happen. I can't do it. But I've been angry at comic book movies ever since then.
I don't even know I don't know where to go with this. All I know is we were talking about the Chargers and Dean Spanos. Whatever.
Yeah, let me go with this one. This is my favorite one. I'm actually really bullish on this team. I think they go 9-7 this year. They went 5-11 last year with a negative 8-point differential. Mm-hmm. So let me put this in context. They actually had a 1 point worse point differential than the Houston Texans last year. So they were essentially the same. They were essentially the same team as the Texans, point differential wise. They just had a string of bad luck. That's all there was to it. And I think getting rid of Rivers and putting in Tyrod is a wash, maybe even a slight improvement, to be quite honest. I don't think this team's nearly that bad. There's talent all over the field. They got Brian Bulaga in, which I think will help the offensive line. I think it's a pretty good team. They got Chris Harris Jr. at cornerback. I think this is a playoff team this year, and I'll be betting that too.
Yeah,
their season win total is 7.5. I'll be taking that over. To win the division's 9-1. I'll probably place a small bet on that too, just in case there's some crazy variance out there. This is like when you guys think positively about Denver. That's how I feel about the Chargers.
Well, we'll just do a bet between us. You get San Diego. You get the Chargers, and I'll take Denver. And then if nobody wins, it's a wash.
That'll work. I'll do that. I'll gladly do that.
So then there's no odds we don't win. We don't lose any money unless one of us wins.
I like the Chargers.
Fair
too.
enough.
Not that high, but I like their defense. I mean, they were without Derwin James for most of the season. Yeah. They drafted Kenneth Murray. He's going to be a dog. Got Chris Harris. They got Linval Joseph. I think their defense got even better. And, yeah, I got them 7-9, not making the playoffs. But, and Melvin Gordon. I don't see Eckler kind of taking that. Eckler only had 3 touchdowns last season. Gordon had 8. I don't see Eckler being that touchdown running back. I don't think he can just take that over.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I don't think the teams are going to respect the run game as much as they were. I mean, obviously, Eckler held it up. The passing Rivers learned the trade of the check down.
Yeah.
And Tyrod, we haven't seen him in a couple years. I know he led the Bills to the playoffs, but I mean, I just don't trust that. Plus, the number one problem I have with the Chargers is their coaching staff. Mm-hmm. They don't make good decisions. They always seem to do stupid shit at the end of the games.
Yeah.
And I know Rivers is part of that, but also, like, Rivers, in my opinion, was forced to make those decisions himself and call an audible and be like, we have to win game. There's two.
They were treating him. They were treating him like he was Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers can do that.
They try to keep Rivers in a cage like a bird, and he needs to fly. Let him. He knows what he's doing. Let him do his shit. And they try to.
Throw a football.
Are you saying
he can throw a football, dude? He has all those weapons.
Are you saying that Phillip Rivers is a peacock?
Yeah, and let him show off, dude. Let him do his thing. But they hold him under wraps for 3 quarters, and then they keep it close. And in the 4th quarter, he looks like the bad guy.
Yeah. Okay.
So, my opinion, coaching's the problem. That's why I have him where I have him. I have him at 6-10. I just don't think, and their defense is loaded. That's why when I put 6-10, I'm like, that doesn't make sense because they got Harris. You mentioned Linval Joseph, he's an animal.
Yeah.
They added Balaga. Kevin mentioned that. Like, I don't
already got Bosa.
If you told me their roster without any context of coaching, I would think that they'd be up there competing. But the history I have of watching them choke away games and just they signed the kickers were a problem. They can't even find a kicker. Is it that hard to find a kicker? They've been fighting kickers looking for a kicker for like 5 years. Young Ho Koo, Schwijum. Like they've went through. I can't even name them all. I don't even know if Schwijum was on there. I just like that guy's name, Sean Schwijum. But I'm just saying, like, find a kicker.
Yeah.
And just.
This goes back to my point about going for it in positive field position.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Start going for it.
But yeah, I have them at 6-10. So anyway, playoff team. We went over. That's it. So playoff.
That's it. Yeah.
Playoff teams. I got Indy with the bye. We should put that at the start of the show because people are gonna lose their shit.
I got the Ravens.
Yeah, they are.
Indianapolis. Then I got Tennessee.
In a conference that has the Chiefs and the Ravens, you gave Indy the bye.
Yeah. You got Tennessee at Baltimore, Cleveland at Kansas City, Denver at Buffalo. I love Denver. If they're up, I mean, obviously I'm going to be wrong. Everybody's wrong, dude. No one's predicting this shit, right? And if you do, kudos. I hope one of us does. Or I hope you do because Kevin will probably bet the most because he lives in Vegas. But
yeah, I got the Chiefs at 11-5 with the 1 seeds, and the Steelers, Ravens, Pats, Colts, Titans, Chargers, rounding out the 7.
Yeah, I got the Ravens getting the bye. And I got the Chiefs, Colts, Bills, Steelers, Broncos, Titans.
All right, let's go NFC. Last thing before we let you go. What do you got? What do you do? Anybody having plans tomorrow? This is a trick question because you better know what's up.
Golf?
Well, I think there's a NASCAR race.
There might. Did you say NASCAR?
Yeah.
No, I'm out, dude. Not watching cars drive around in circles for 75 hours.
Well, some of us have to for work, so.
Are you working tomorrow?
Yeah.
You can't watch the Tiger Woods match, the golf?
Yeah. You know what? I actually have a bet on that. I have Woods and who's he with, Brady? No, he's with Manning. That's right.
Yeah, Woods and Manning. What did you do?
I got Woods and Manning winning.
You laid the two. What is it? Two? What did you get him at? 210?
No, 185.
Oh, did it drop? Did it drop recently?
I don't know. I bet it like 2 days ago.
Oh, okay.
But actually, I haven't been tracking the odds too much, but yeah, it's really just a bet about Tiger Woods. Like I think Woods is going to care more
than the Mickelson Woods of last.
Yeah. I mean, if you gun to my head, I'll take Tiger Woods. It is pretty juicy though. I'm not like thrilled to lay that much juice on something like this, but I'm okay with that. I guess with Tiger Woods.
Yeah, but what about the other side, dude? Did you?
I mean,
if
I was adding zeros to my bets, I'd probably try and like arbitrage out of it.
Did you see the odds went up? Did you see the YouTube where Manning was talking trash? Manning is a good trash talker. I'll give him that. He said
Manning's a funny guy.
He said if you add up the championships between us, then me and Tiger, we got 19, and Tom and Phil's got 14. Because Tiger has like 16 of them, and I have 3, and Brady's got 7 and whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you're watching golf with me, Kris.
Yeah, I'll be with you. So yeah.
I will probably peek in on golf, but I think most of my day is going to end up wrapping around NASCAR tomorrow for my job. So
that's weak. So we need a hole in one though, because that's my bet. 70-1.
Yeah, that's awful odds.
That's a stupid. That's a stupid. Well, you know what? So it's gonna happen.
I priced out the odds for something like this happening in a foursome of 4 PGA pros, not just 2. And it still should be like well over 100-1.
Do you know what's going to happen though?
What's that?
Tom Brady's going to get a hole in one.
I mean, hey, if it does, I'm happy for you.
If it does, you need to create an Instagram like as soon as possible because I'll probably doing like a naked cannonball into my pool. So
books everywhere will definitely take a bath on that because I've saw so many like $10 and $20 bets on that come across all week.
Tom Brady, dude, I named my kid. His middle name is Brady. He's hitting a hole in one tomorrow, and then I got the other one is plus 450. I got the 3-team. Someone has to win the hole 3 times, which is probably rare because they tie a lot.
Yeah, the ties kind of eat into that.
So anyway, all right. Well, shit.
I'll be cheering for you though, for sure.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Well,
while I'm watching NASCAR.
All right, Kev. All right, Kris.
All right, guys.
We are back. If you guys are still listening, follow us, like us, subscribe us, give us feedback. If you're on iTunes, leave us a 5-star rating. I don't even leave us a 1-star rating. I don't care. Just provide us feedback to get our show better. All right, and we are out of here.